Hi, thanks for watching and enjoy. Gave a nice guy a chance. Happened a couple of years ago, but I'm still mad. A coworker on his last day at our job tells me he caught feelings. At the time I was still with my high school boyfriend. It wasn't going well, which was publicly known. I told this guy that I was still in a committed relationship and I don't feel about him the same way. He acts cool and says something about still staying friends. A few months pass with us staying in touch on and off when my relationship ends. Ex-coworker swoops in, planning outings and parties with people from work, coming up with ways to meet me, texting me all the time, constantly urging me to give him a chance because he's a nice guy and would treat me better. A while later I give in. I'm heartbroken over my breakup, giving up on love, living alone after years, spending most of my free time holed up in my apartment. So I think what the hell and go out with him a couple of times. His new job is on the other end of the city, so we meet once in weeks and mostly communicate over phone. I'm still not feeling it and he can tell. He starts telling me how everyone at the job thinks I'm dumb and how the other guys at work make lewd comments about me when I'm not around. Mind you, he has left this job, but I still work there, see these people every day, and some of them are my closest friends. I was at my lowest and so gullible. A few dates later, we get drunk and he insists on dropping me home. He practically invites himself into my apartment and clearly wants to get laid. We had kissed on a prior date, but I stop him and tell him that I'm really uncomfortable. His first response, "So after everything I put up with, you're still not attracted to me?" I'm wasted and tired, but I try to explain how I've been with only one guy my whole life and this is moving too fast. Then he says, "But you're dating me now. If I'm horny, isn't that kind of your responsibility?" That was it. My blood boils that I had to still ask him nicely to leave, because I was scared for my safety. He didn't back off after that either. Thankfully, the COVID lockdowns hit soon after. I got furloughed and went to live with my parents. He kept calling and texting until I had to lie to him that I had started seeing someone else and he didn't stand a chance even if the world was ending. He called me names, sent countless long AF texts, accused me of cheating on him and then finally left me alone. Wow. At first, when you were saying that he was begging for your attention and telling you how he's going to treat you better than I was thinking, okay, that's annoying and socially awkward. But lot of guys, especially if they've never been in a relationship, learn their courtship techniques from rom-com plots and pop songs. But when he started trying to break your self-esteem on your dates, hell, that's gaslighting even before the relationship began. Honestly, I can't describe how happy I am that the Shawn Mendes song, "Treat You Better," didn't become more prevalent with these kinds of guys, because it couldn't more perfectly match the nice guy trademark mentality. I'd like to think he meant well when he wrote the song, but he sounds like a creep with no sense for boundaries. And considering I'm on the spectrum and have trouble picking up on social cues, that's saying quite a bit coming from me. It goes back further than that. 20 years ago, almost every boy band slow ballad was about nice guy stuff. The first Backstreet Boys album had a bunch of nice guy songs. "I'll Never Break Your Heart" was a song that was pretty much the OP's Nice Guy to AT, the singer's crush had just broken up with her boyfriend and was hurting, and so they swoop in and insist that they love her, she needs to move on and let go, and they deserve a relationship. It's a nice sounding song musically, but a pretty toxic message. They play on innocence. Let's face it, when we have a crush we feel like all the lyrics in a pop song, I think about her day and night. She's the girl for me. I can't live without her. Girl, give a chance to show you how much I love you. I don't care that your boyfriend is rich and buys you expensive things, I can love you better than him. So forth and so on. We all have that emotional feeling, and when we're kids, it's a bit more forgivable when we act on those feelings when we're not experienced with relationships, so long as we learn when we get the embarrassing lesson that love doesn't work like that. If you're an adult and still taking cues from song lyrics on how to charm women, that's how you get nice guys. I was so low on self-esteem at the point, I didn't doubt him at all. But yeah, in hindsight, it did seem like he picked up a lot of his techniques and expectations too from shitty rom-coms. Nice guy coworker tries to steal me from my husband. This story is probably too serious for this sub, so I'll push all the fun stuff to the bottom with the TLDR. Feel free to skip to the end. For context, I'm a young newly married business major halfway through my degree. I just work part-time to pay my way while my husband works full-time. No kids, unless you count the animals. A lot of people throw doubt on why we got married. I'm not publicly affectionate, and when asked about why we got married so young, we're both pretty casual about it. We aren't any less in love than anyone else. I'm just a reserved individual. Still, this isn't the first time we've had some idiots self-insert themselves into our relationship either to fix or tear it apart. I have abandonment issues, so I keep a small friend group who have proven their loyalty beyond a reasonable doubt. Even so, I have a hard time controlling my paranoia fits. So I don't make new friends casually. My anxiety gives me self-destructive levels of paranoia. This will come back up later. Anyway, I started a new job in April working afternoons. Nice guy was the PT overnighter. I really didn't meet him until he started covering some afternoon shifts, July. He was 26 on the shorter, whiter side. He had long hair he kept in a ponytail and usually wore metal t-shirts with a hoodie. He was 1/8th Japanese, that's part of why he liked to keep his hair the way he did. So I'll nickname him Samurai. Samurai was the closest coworker in age to me, so I tried to make small talk sometimes. He was really grouchy and offish to customers and other coworkers, but he went out of his way to be nice to me. He thought it was really cool I listened to metal, played video games, was a real person, not stuck up like other girls. I kinda got the inkling he might be attracted to me, but I casually name-dropped my then-boyfriend and he never acted offish about it. He even knew about my upcoming wedding, texted me congratulating me the day of and the day after. All coworkers shared numbers for work reasons. Early August, I mentioned since all my college friends were coming back from their hometowns that I'd be doing D&D again and talking about hunting down my dice and supplies. He mentioned that he played D&D and I casually told him if he was comfortable maybe you could play with us. We always end up hosting it since the dorms aren't big enough. I've been compiling all of the information from our chats over break and deduced he and my husband liked a lot of the same stuff. This was step 1 in my plan to collect us a new mutual friend. It went well too. He was shy and quiet, but ultimately we all had a lot of fun. That opened the gateway to us hanging out outside of work. See, he lived 50 minutes away from work and usually had work at 11 p.m., but our job has regular training usually in the afternoon done by 5 p.m. So after that we started hanging out between training and when he worked so he wouldn't need to drive home just to come back. The first couple of times we hung out it was in a group, which I insisted on. But I have male friends, and when he seemed like he was entirely uninterested in me in any romantic way, I stopped going out of my way to never hang out alone. I can't remember when, but at some point he opened up about issues he was having with his family, and I told him about my abuse story. We hugged, and kinda teared up over it, but it was nice and seemed platonic enough. After that he messaged me about some friendly stray kittens he wanted advice about. I was involved with our local APL. I came and he genuinely had a shit ton of feral cats on the edge of the pseudo farm he lived on in the middle of nowhere. I showed him some resources and actually ended up adopting this friendly runt we found that was following us. It had been raining on and off all day, so I got pretty wet and muddy scouting for cats. He let me borrow some sweatpants and a t-shirt. We ended up playing Xbox at his place for a little bit since I was already there. After that he got weird about not coming to things my other friends would be at. Coming over multiple times a week, but it was always when my husband was at work, which I didn't think anything of. It was at this time that my husband read through our message history and pointed out that he had asked a lot of invasive questions about our relationship and how he was giving me a lot of unprovoked compliments. I got kinda offended. He was lightly implying that I wasn't capable of managing my own relationships. I reminded him about how well they hit it of that first time and why would someone trying to be with me get so friendly with my husband. I did however tell Samurai that while I didn't mind hanging out separately, we all spend time as a group for efficiency because we are all very busy and that it means a lot to me that all my friends like each other. So Samurai started coming to group stuff and toned down. Everything was fine and we kept getting closer for almost a month. For reasons having nothing to do with him, I decide to switch jobs and tell him before I put my notice in that my last day will be 11/XX. My last week of employment is this week. For the last 7 days he'd been sending me unprovoked, slightly flirtatious messages. Real texts I got. Morning beautiful. You looked great today. Seeing you always makes work better. I'll be so sad when you leave. Will we stay friends after you go? I'll be okay when I see you. Everything is fun with you. I just politely redirected the conversation. I had been spiraling into my anxiety-induced paranoia state ever since I decided to change jobs. So I was restraining myself from being rude to him or assuming he was flirting because I figured I was convincing myself that I wasn't being fair to him. A week ago, I was also convinced my former bridesmaid was just using me to be around my husband's attractive best friend. I'm very self-destructive when I get like this, so I go out of my way to mentally tune out from my friendships before I ruin them. This all comes to a head the day before I'm supposed to start my new job. He calls me saying it's really important and that we need to talk. It has to be today. I have a ton of shit I need to do for my new job, but I tell him if it's that serious it'll make time. He asks if we can do something fun while we're hanging out. It will be his treat since I'm always covering him on group outings. It's getting kinda late, 7 p.m. He arrives. I let my husband know I'm going out with him and that I think it might be about getting help with his drug problem. He had been trying to get a new job, but his substance addiction was keeping him from switching jobs because he would fail his drug test. I had been offering to help him for a hot minute and he said it was something hard to talk about over the phone. We get in the car and go to Olive Garden. Now that there is light, I notice he cut his hair and cleaned up a little. After dinner, he insists we extend the night. I don't drink, so we went bowling. Super fun, but I had no inclination of why we needed to do this tonight still. I keep politely reminding him I still have things I need to do for my orientation class. Finally takes me home and cuts the radio by my house. This is condensed, but most of what is here is verbatim. This is really hard to say. But over the last couple months I've developed feelings for you, if you couldn't tell, and I just need to know how you feel. Me, after a straight minute of processing. What? Wait, I mean. Yeah, I was kinda worried that you might have had feelings for me. I kinda stopped thinking about it though, since you know. I'm married? At this point I just got confused and angry and the conversation gets very blunt from here. Yeah, I realize you're married, but we don't control how we feel. I just wanted to be honest with each other. Me, yeah, I realize you can't control how you feel, and maybe I'm somehow responsible for you developing those feelings. I was under the impression that you had decided you wanted to be friends and be close with my friends. So is this just you getting it off your chest, like a last goodbye, because you can't be my friend anymore? No, well, dash. Me, or am I supposed to respond? Did you think I felt the same way? What was I supposed to do, just hop in your car and leave? Well, yeah, both maybe. I was hoping you had mutual feelings. We could if you wanted to. I saved up money. But I know you're married. I'm trying to control my emotions, because having my fears verified is the worst thing that could happen right now. Me, hoping I had feelings? Samurai, I'm married, not just married, I'm happily married. I've never once given you any reason to believe I was trying to leave my husband. This wouldn't be okay if I was trying to leave my husband, but I'm not. You watched me kiss him goodbye right before this date. This doesn't make any sense. What was supposed to happen tonight? I agree. I leave my husband for a guy I've been talking to for about 2 months? Samurai, even if I did agree, how could you trust me not to do the same shit to you? What am I, some kind of whore? I'll just throw myself at whoever. I've known my husband for 6 years. I met you in April. We've only been talking frequently since August. Did you think through this plan of yours at all? Quite, because I raised my voice. I don't know, you don't think about that kind of stuff when you love someone. Me. Did you ever have any intention of actually being my friend? He just sheepishly shakes his head no. You were just so nice to me, and especially after I met your husband, I thought we would have a shot of being something. I never meant for tonight to be the last time we spoke or to hurt you. I asked him to leave because it's not fair to either of us if we keep talking, and I go inside. I hug my husband and cry my eyes out, hyperventilating, throwing up the whole 9 yards. He just held me while I rambled off all the bad thoughts I'd been having, and how all of my friends have ulterior motives, and I can't trust anyone, and I'm all alone. It took me the whole night to calm down, and I ended up having to give up the position because I couldn't go in or finish what I needed to in time. I just called in and apologized, lied about having accepted another position. I calmed down, looking into going into therapy because maybe I'm not as cured as I wanted to think I was. Job-wise, I'll be okay, and I don't blame him for the job thing. I do blame him for this hurt feeling I've been left with. In some ways, I'm glad he was dumb enough to think 2 months was long enough to seduce me. It would have hurt worse if I knew him better. TLDR. Nice guy coworker pretends to be my friend for a few months just to gather dirt on my relationship and get his in. Takes me on surprise date night when he knows I'm too busy for it. Tells me he loves me and invites me to run away with him. Though subtle, he hits all the markers I've come to associate with nice guys. Offering his friendship, offering his emotional baggage to elicit sympathy from me, pretending to care about my life, sudden abrupt and badly timed over-the-top love confession. All made worse by the fact that I literally just got married. All he was missing was the nice guy 180, but I think I scared him off with my own emotional 180. I know he is capable of blow-ups since he blows up all the time at work over little stuff. Bitch probably realized he barely knows me and decided to give up rather than keep pushing the issue.